Hi guys and welcome back. So for today's video, I don't know if you can tell, because I think you can, because I would stand out like a sore thumb. All my self-tan is gone. I am really this white. Yes, this is my real pale, pasty ass skin for once. So I have had a lot of requests over the past, I don't know, couple months or so, asking me to do basically a pale or fair friendly makeup tutorial, and I was getting to that point where I was going to have to take all my self-tan off and start over. So I'm like, why don't I just do that video, because I'm at that point anyway. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So if you would like to see what I do for when I don't have a tan, then keep watching. I feel like I have like 50 products right here of just stuff that I have used over the years. So let me kind of give you a backstory here. When I started YouTube, I don't think it's either like I would tan like in the spring or summer, oh my god, fake tan, like self-tan from the drugstore, because I never go out in the sun. I just don't tan, I just burn. And when I started YouTube, I was just my pale, pasty ass self a lot of the time, and I have a lot of older videos that show what I used to do, but then I don't know, it was like I kept progressing with my self-tan, and then it just got to a point where I would just do it even through the winter as well, not just during the spring and summer. So actually a majority of my makeup is matched to my self-tan shades, because through like the stages of self-tanning, as you're like dark as when you first start out, and then you start losing the self-tan. So I have so many shades of just foundations, concealers, powders, and stuff like that that go with my self-tan. So I know a lot of these products are expired. They've just been sitting up on my shelf, barely being used, but I kind of wanted to show you what I used to do. And full transparency here, the reason I started to self-tan is because I could never ever go to the drugstore and find a shade. I could never match myself. Everything was always too dark. And I'm sure a lot of you have the same struggle if you are as fair as I am. And I knew I could go to an Ulta or Sephora and get high-end makeup that would match me, but I just didn't want to spend the money. So I just figured I would start self-tanning in order to match more shades in the drugstore that I could afford. So that's really why I started self-tanning, because the struggle was just so annoying to try and find shades that match me. Everything was always too dark. The lightest shade of every foundation in the drugstore, let's even say 4 or 5 years ago, was too dark. The drugstore has come so far since then, and even so far since I started my YouTube channel. So that's pretty cool. I'll show you some makeup. I have a feeling this is gonna be a long video. So I used to use, this is one of my favorites. It was the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. This is in the shade 0.5. I used to use this all the time. This was a great match for me, a high-end, expensive foundation, and I know this is expired, so I will not use that today. This is the Kojin Dough foundation. This is in the shade 002. This is the lightest shade, at least at the time when I bought it. I don't know about their shade range now, but this was the lightest shade at the time, and this is dark. This is so dark on me. So if I ever wore this, it would be like long sleeves, drag it down my neck. Could not wear this. This was the lightest shade. Did used to wear it, but I still have a lot of this left. But I didn't wear it very often because, again, it was too dark for me. When the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation came out, this is light. I find that this is a good, fair shade. It's in porcelain, but it's very yellow on me. And that's the other problem I always felt like I ran into. A lot of the lighter foundations always had more of a yellow undertone. There are people who are fair that do have yellow undertones. I feel like the drugstore catered more to yellow undertones. My opinion, that's just what I always thought. I am cool undertones, I have pink undertones, so anything that's pinky reddish, stuff like that is what I go for. Even in my darker shades of foundation, I still go for that pink undertone because obviously I'm cool toned. But this just seemed very yellow on me, which is another reason I didn't use it as much. But for a drugstore foundation, it is pretty fair. So kudos to that. A really, really fair foundation, high end, that I did get, wasn't a huge fan of because it did make me oily, which is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. Wow, I could not think of that to save my life. Great shade, again, expensive, high end, great for those who have dry skin, but for me didn't work, which is why I really didn't use it very often, which is why it's like almost still full. I think I used it like a handful of times. But this is a great foundation, high-end foundation that catered to those who have fair skin. But I almost think that if you go to a Sephora or Ulta and get high-end makeup, they most likely do have a light shade for you. So as far as high-end goes, and again, this is the Anastasia foundation stick, very light. Very fair. So I have a lot that I just have thrown down the drain because I know these motherfuckers are expired. So again, today I will not be using any of those because I know they're expired. Haven't used them in years. I will be using the Covergirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation today. They actually have lighter shades than this one. This was the lightest shade my drugstore had. Not sure if it's going to be the best color match for me. It might be a little light. I don't know. We're going to try. I don't think I've used this shade. I've used the darker shade when I did a review on it, but I got it in this shade as well. I do want to say too that the other problem I've always had is concealers. You know, I can never get that under eye highlight that everybody loves to have. Okay, maybe not everybody, but I love to have. Concealer were just as hard to find a good match for in order to get like a bright highlight under my eye. The only thing that could ever get me a bright highlight under my eye is using the Kat Von Whooping Cough Concealer in Whiteout, because I literally couldn't get a highlight to save my life. So to mix this with other concealers was the only way I could get a little bit of a highlight. And then again, I always felt like the lightest shade was always too dark, and they always went more on the yellow side, which didn't really look good on me at all whatsoever. Perfect example of that. They could have more shades out now, I don't know, but the LA Girl Pro Concealer, this is so yellow and so dark up under my eyes. Love the formula, but hardly ever used it. I could use it more when I have a little bit of a tan going on. And I did actually buy the Too Faced Born This Way, the new one, and I've used it in a video whenever I got it, but I just find this to be too dark and too yellow as well. I think this has been the longest intro of my life, so I'm gonna try and go and speed quickly through the makeup process, hopefully, maybe, whatever. But I just feel like there's a lot of information to give from a fair-skinned girl's side of things, because it's a struggle sometimes, but I don't know, maybe nowadays when going to the drugstore it might not be. So I'm going to start off with the One Heck of a Blot primer. I don't think I'm really going to do much with the eyes today. This is more of just in depth of like my skin. I will talk about eye makeup and what I feel looks good on me for my pale skin. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this so that this video isn't like a half an hour long. And then, like I said, I'm going to go in with the Covergirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. For concealer, I'm going to go in with Kat Von Whooping Cough shade in L1. I'm going to set that with the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I always think I look crazy when I first start doing my makeup when I'm this fair, but it'll all come together, I promise you. Looks crazy. Looking crazy. I know. Now I'm going to take the MAC Studio Fix powder. This is in NW10. And set the rest of my face. And I'm not even joking you. Back in the day, the lightest shade of a MAC foundation I forget what shade it was. It might have been a NW10. I can't remember off the top of my head, which I think it was actually. I don't even think they always had NW10. I think it was NW15 was like their lightest shade they ever had. And that was always too dark for me. All right, now for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer in medium. I always use this when I was fair, when I am fair. This is an awesome bronzer for those of you who have fair skin. I always get asked this a lot too about my hair. I am not a natural redhead. I don't know how many people, that's probably one of my most asked questions is me being a natural redhead. Am I a natural redhead? Am I a natural redhead but I get my hair like done more vibrant? No. My natural hair color is almost black. It is like dark brown. But I have dark brown, natural dark brown hair and blue eyes. But I've been getting my hair done red for probably like 15 years. Not even joking. I don't know. I like gold. A lot of times they say what's more flattering on fair skin is gold, or I'm sorry, is silver. I've never been a fan of silver. I don't like wearing silver. I got gold. Like all my earrings are usually always gold. And my cousin even says that too. She's like, I don't know why, but you actually look good in gold jewelry for your, for having fair skin. Because I'm pretty sure she only wears silver. But I don't know. I've just never, I don't follow that trend. I wear what I want to wear. I like what I like. And I like to wear gold. I don't know if my camera was just recording or not when I did this. But all I did was put blush on. I don't know why my camera cut off. But for blush, I used the Morphe 9B palette. And I went into like these 3 shades. I'm not real picky when it comes to blush, but I do tend to stick to more pinky. Wow, I almost just smacked myself. More pinky, peachy type shades for my cheeks when I am this fair. I'm not sure if y'all got that on camera, but that's what I did. And then what I was saying was the NYX Warm Neutral palette for the eyes would be a great option for those who have fair skin, because since I do have blue eyes and obviously red hair, I always find browns, light browns, coppers, maroons, those kind of colors really bring out blue eyes, but also look beautiful for those who have fair skin. So I tend to try and stay away from black, like black eyeliner. I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I've put a black wing on, put black in my waterline, but I do find that it does look a little harsh or more harsh on those who have fair skin. So I feel like if you stick to browns and neutrals, coppers, those kind of colors, which like I said this would be a great option for you. I don't think you could really go wrong. I don't want to do a lot with my eyes today. I feel like my last 2 looks were very intense. But I also feel like when I do have fair skin, I'm a fan of putting some like brown liner on and just like really dramatic lashes, and that's kind of my thing when I am this fair. But I think I just will go in with like a little light shade like this guy right here and just place that right into my crease. Now I'm going to dip into this shade right up here and just kind of take it right on my lash line, and then just kind of go in and blend it a little bit. I mean, we're going with the lash anyway. I'm just kind of whatever. And then I'm going to go in with this brown right here. So very lightly, just take it right kind of in the middle here and then kind of up, keeping it right on my eyelid and not really taking it above my crease. And then for my lower lash line, I think I'm just going to take this shade right here. I know this can look a little deadly looking. It can look crazy, but it'll all come together. Alright, so I am back. What I wanted to show you is what I use for brows. I always use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Auburn, but I am out of that right now. But that's like my holy grail, my go-to. That's always what I use. But I did have some Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer on deck that I found in Auburn. Another thing is I do get my eyebrows dyed the same color as my hair. So one day when I was at the salon, I'm like, hey, can you dye my brows? Their hair. What's the difference? And she's like, yeah, why not? So we've been doing my brows ever since. Nothing weird has ever happened. It's never gotten to my eye. She's very strategic. When she places the dye on my brows, we only leave it on. It's not on as long as like with my hair, but it does fade really quickly because I wash my face so much. I did take a brown eyeliner pencil and just line my upper waterline just to kind of blend the lashes to my natural lashes better. And the lashes I have on are the Kiss lashes in number 11. Now I'm going to put some mascara on. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And then for my favorite part of life, love this highlighter. My favorite highlighter for when I am my natural skin color. This is the Becca Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Pearl. Oh my god. This is the best highlighter when you are fair. Oh, I love it. I always feel like it makes me look like a porcelain doll when I get this highlighter on. And then sometimes I just kind of go back over with some blush, just like on the apples of my cheeks. Oh my god, how dare I forget the inner corners. Oh my gosh. So I like to take this highlighter and put it on the inner corners of my eyes and my brow bone. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about the brow is I make sure and keep them like thinner and not as, I don't know, not as thick as I usually would. Just keep them more on the natural side, because I do think brows can go from looking really good to like really harsh in a matter of seconds. So I'm very careful when doing my brows and making sure they're not getting like too out of hand and crazy. For lips, I want to keep this more on the natural or neutral side. So I'm going to start with the Rimmel London lip liner in the shade Natural. Then I'm just going to put a gloss over it. This is a Gerard Cosmetics gloss in Shimmer of Hope. And then as usual, I'm going to finish this look off with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. So this is it for this video. I know that it was a long one, long-winded. I talked your head off, but I was hoping to give a lot of informative information or different options for you guys to wear, because I personally know the struggle of trying to find the lightest shade when it comes to drugstore foundation. Well, at least back in the day, like I said before, I think the drugstore has come a long, long way in the last 2 to 3 years. So I know I'm finding more options than I used to, which is always just an amazing feeling that I can actually buy drugstore foundation and know that it can kind of compete with the more high-end shades. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on my next one. Thanks for watching.